So welcome everybody. Hi everyone. So I'm just going to ring this bell. We're going to line up and make our way into the temple. And as you're making your way in, I just invite you to think about you're creating a space, or you're making a space inside yourself to be more awesome. So in some cultures, bowing is a sign of respect or presence. If that feels good to you, you could make some bows or prostrations. And I just invite you to be thinking about making some space, some time in yourself to feel good, to be empowered. The rest of you can make your way in. Welcome everybody. So it's great to be here with everyone. And we're just going to start with a little tradition we inherited from the people who created this space. We're going to set an intention. So I'm going to share my intention for today, and I just invite you, whichever parts of what I say sound good, just invite you to feel it or affirm that. So my intention for being here is to have a good time, for us to be friendly and kind and supportive to each other. My intention is for us to have some time reflecting on ourselves, or meditating, creating positive states of mind. I hope we all walk away from this session more peaceful, more happy, more empowered. I hope, if that sounds good, you also set that intention. My intention is that the parts of us that are caring, that are empowering, the parts of us that dream big, the parts of us that are wise, the parts of us that will make good decisions or will enjoy life more, I want those parts of us to be bigger and stronger and more empowered. So I believe that different parts of us grow as we give attention to them. So the parts of you that are wise and happy and awesome, I'm trying to make a space here for you to give attention to those parts of you, to feel into those parts of you, and to be more great. And bigger than all that, my intention is that I hope you practice or decide or envisage good feelings and good habits and good ways of being, and that rubs off on the people around you, that we all become a source of peace or happiness, perspectives that are helpful, and that we share that with people around us. And we make the world a happier, kinder, wiser place. So, welcome everybody. It's great to have you here. And our normal format is we have just a little hello, an intro, and then we'll dive into a meditative experience. And then we'll open up to discussions and exploring the theme. I'm feeling like we should just dive straight into a meditation medley. So there's many kinds of meditation. Some people will tell you, oh, meditation means this, or meditation means that. I've been in so many different meditation groups and seen people do so many different things under the name of meditation. So from what I have been able to put together is that meditation means any time that you're doing something intentional for some kind of result. So that could be singing some kind of song, but intentionally feeling into it, or intentionally calming your mind as the song just holds your attention. It could be focusing on the breath for relaxation. It could be focusing on the breath to watch your mind. It could be focusing on your breath to learn to watch where your attention goes. Just talking about different kinds of meditations. Some people use meditation to cultivate more compassion, to practice being kinder or more patient. Some people use meditation to practice being more confident or more at peace with everybody. Some people use meditation for feeling relaxed in their body. There are so many kinds of meditations, but I hope I just showed you that there is many things that people call meditation. So we're going to just dive straight into a little exploration of a bunch of those. I'm just going to jam and see wherever the music of the mind takes us. So I hope that it's an enjoyable experience for you. So I invite everyone to get comfortable in your seat. And as I do that, first I sat back, getting comfortable. But then as I feel my body, actually I want to sit up straight. And that makes me plant my feet solid on the ground. You just feel your body. What will make you feel like you could relax, but also be present? I want to sit up straight, pull my posture up, feeling strong. And invite everyone to close their eyes. And meditation can often be about awareness. So I find it amazing that just by feeling my body, I naturally adjust my posture and relax the muscles. And then I notice my breath. So just by being aware of it, I make it better. I make it feel better. So I invite you to keep feeling your body and feeling your posture as you take a few slow, deep breaths and feel the breath coming in and out. And if you've just arrived, or if your mind's still not in the meditation, you just be thinking to yourself, right, it's meditation time. Everything else can wait till later. I'm going to explore, taking my mind on a journey. So I'm going to take a few more breaths, and I want you to really feel your body. Feel the breath and the body. And some of you will find that you get this sense of peace, or you'll feel different muscles, and then you'll just notice them relaxing. Some of you might notice what it's like to move your awareness around your body, and you might be used to that, and you can make your body feel at peace. You can feel nice feelings in your body. Or maybe it's new to you, and I will invite you to be fascinated. Oh, I'm watching myself move my attention. And to everyone who's just arrived, just deciding to jump into meditation. You're gonna just let everything else, just let everything else go. Checking in with my posture, closing my eyes. Noticing my state of mind. And deciding even to let that go. I'm just going to take some soothing breaths and imagine everything else is just being let go of. I'm just stepping into a state of peace. So you could imagine, you noticed moving your attention around your body, and then we put our attention into our state of mind. Imagine if you were standing in a vast space, and wherever you looked there was just different parts of your mind. Different habits, different things you do, different hobbies, people that you think about, causes that you think about. And then I want you to imagine that in front of you is a doorway. It's kind of a magical doorway. It's kind of glowing, a little different to all the other things. And you know that on the other side of the doorway is just an empty space. Everything else can just rest for a little while. So I want you to reach out, and as you take the door, maybe it feels really amazing in your hand, you turn and open the door. And as you walk through, you imagine everything else is just disappearing. It's just left outside that door as you close it behind you. And then I invite you to just sit and just relax in your breath and either experience or imagine perfect peace. And you may notice that every few breaths, the peace becomes bigger, more complete. You may notice something that reminds you to imagine an even more profound peace. What if even your body disappeared? Your thoughts disappeared? What would it be like if it was just you, just breathing and chilling? And yeah, it's pretty amazing to notice all the things in your attention. Imagine if all of that disappeared and you were just peace. You could imagine if you had sat in this peace for a long time and everything had settled. What might it feel like to be in a vast sense of peace? And each time you notice your attention's doing something else, try to imagine an even bigger sense of peace. Like you're just letting go of anything. Anything your mind touches just gets teleported back out the door. Your space of peace is becoming more complete. Some people find this peace is just really nice to relax and enjoy some stillness. Give your mind a rest. Some people find amazing things happen to them in the peace. Some people find like you could have been thinking about something from today and then you just let it go and you feel so much better about that. But some people find you might think of some attitude or something that's been going on in your life and then you let it go and there's a whole new part of you that's just filled with peace and ease. What would it be like to just let go of all that stuff? You could just imagine your body and your mind becoming more still. We'll go just a little bit further into the stillness. Imagine it's making your consciousness more powerful, stronger, more pure. Just a few more breaths. Feeling the stillness. Feeling the processing and transformation and freedom. Just being awareness. I'm so honored that we sit together, that we make this time for stillness, for your best self to shine, for things to transform in you. I invite you to imagine, what if you gave yourself that time every day? How could you make this memorable? How could you make that something that you keep thinking about, turning to? Yeah, my free self, my empowered self, the way of being that's easy, a way of feeling that is calm and clear, that's happy and driven. Some people motivate their meditation by imagining a world full of enlightenment. Everyone is kind and caring. Some people imagine profound experiences or epic world-saving superheroes. Just inviting you to imagine that each day you think of meditation. Each day you're driven to make some space to be in the stillness, to let your strongest, wisest self shine. So as we're starting to come out of the meditation, I just invite you to reflect upon any of the moments that you had, or any of the nice feelings, or strong feelings, or perhaps there was something interesting about what your mind did or what your attention did. Maybe you really felt something shifting. Or maybe you're curious about how that could be. Next we're going to just move into an open discussion and sharing. And first, if you had anything that felt really good, something that looked really interesting, something you'd like to share, we're going to start with sharing. And then we'll move into questions and topics. So as you reflect upon your meditation, even if it's just the smallest thing, a moment of peace or a nice feeling, I just invite you to think of, is there anything good that you'd like to say it again, to give it to yourself again as a gift, or to share with the other people here?
I'll add something.
Please.
I've been coming here for about a little over a month now, and I had a really good result today. Um, when you were talking about the void and emptying, and my mind just really, it felt like it touched something, and I don't know how long it was, but It was there for quite a bit. It was kind of cool.
So for those of you who were here a month ago and you remember Ed saying that his mind is constant racing, it'll never be stillness. To hear that 1 month later he's saying that now it's put a giant smile on my face. So I'm very proud of you, happy, pleased. So 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 great to hear that, Ed. So thank you for sharing. Would anyone else like to share? Amazer?
Yeah, I came late to the meditation and I think I missed lots of it, but somehow when I got in, I was instantly in the meditation and something made me feel like there was how do I describe it? Like a curtain was not lifted, but like it fell down and all of my thoughts were quiet for a moment. And that felt like the deepest feeling of calm and peace. And that was very beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. I hope everybody, as you hear this description of the curtain dropping and deep calm and peace, or touching the void, I hope that many of you will get to feel that again and more. I really love this sharing. It's a way that we collectively take each other more into it. Amazer, was that a wave like you wanted to share something else?
Yeah, I then developed this deep sense of longing that I want that more and in my everyday life. And I was wondering if that's a thing that's possible. But yeah, I want to hear other people's insights of the meditation.
Just one thing I wanted to share is you said you arrived and then it felt like you were just straight into the meditation. And I want to point out to everybody that our minds very much follow the ideas or the things we put our attention onto. And just after you arrived, I said to everyone who just arrived, hey, imagine you're just diving straight into it. Jump straight into it. And so I gave that suggestion, and then you ran with that suggestion, either intentionally or maybe just your subconscious was carried you into that. And I encourage you to watch the live stream again, to listen to how it was as you arrived and see how that took you there. And I encourage everybody, whether it's the way you're guiding your own meditation or whether it's the kinds of words you choose when you talk to yourself through your day, or even the words, the feelings you give to other people. The way we describe things and talk about things can really affect what our attention does and how we feel. So, just diving straight into that space of dropping this curtain into stillness. So glad that you shared that with us. And as for the question of wanting that each day, starting your day with meditations, or even sharing that with the people around you, and perhaps longer meditations than we'd normally do. You know, maybe people squeeze in a minute or two, but giving yourself 10 or 20 minutes to really shift gears that the rest of your day feels wildly more peaceful or empowered. Yes, it is possible. And yes, it does get better and better the more we explore it. Would anyone else like to share? I know we just had touching the void and a curtain dropping into complete stillness. Maybe you just felt good. Like maybe you've just got a small thing to share. Or maybe you had something even more wild. I'd love anyone to feel like anything nice you'd like to share. It's all great. Pops, how was the meditation for you today? double thumbs up. Excellent. If you're fixing your mic or something, give me a little wave and or we can come back. You can jump in if you'd like to. And if anyone else would like to share, or perhaps you have a question, or perhaps something else you'd like to share, not just the positive. I'm going to be quiet for longer now, because I know sometimes it takes some time to figure out what you want to say or work yourself up to it. And anyone out there on the live stream, if you'd like to share something from your meditation, I'd love to hear it. I'll read it out to everybody. Or if you have a question about meditation, or about the impact of meditation, or about suggestion and how we phrase our words, anything. These sessions are here for you. Geist, was that you wanting to share? MD Geist? Oh, okay.
I think I have something.
Yes, please.
I also got here late, but I did catch the part where you said, move your awareness through your body, I think.
Yeah.
As I was sitting with my arms kind of scrunched in my lap, I kind of felt this warmth in my left bicep. It slowly moved to my right. I think that was just my awareness focusing on one arm, then moving to the other.
That sounds really nice.
Which is weird, because I never felt that before.
One of the things I love about meditation, and maybe it's part of what drives me to do these sessions, is these interesting, beautiful, warm feelings, or even more other amazing things that can happen to us that can be just a total surprise. Sometimes when we're scanning our bodies, I will say, hey, you'll find warm feelings, but I didn't even say that today. And these amazing things just come out of you. And I love that. Thank you for sharing. Would anyone else like to share, or perhaps you would like to ask a question? Some people also type into the chat, which I think you find in your options. If you hold down B, then you can go to chat box and you can start typing there if you want to compose something rather than saying it. But I also encourage you, if you've got some kind of idea, the beginning of a question or the beginning of something nice you want to share, please just wave. And I'm sure once you just start trying to share it, you'll put it together in a way that's pretty cool. Chaotic Tempest?
Question.
Yes, please.
Well, a question. So how long do these meditations last, for the most part?
Um,
Well, on average, I should say.
So these sessions, normally 1.5 to 2 hours. We have a meditation at the start, then we have a discussion, and maybe we'll have more experiential meditations through the discussions, or maybe it's just a discussion all the way to an ending meditation. So that's about these sessions. My suggestion when I'm talking to people about meditation is, when you're first starting, try and just commit to 3 or 4 minutes every day. And if you do that every day, you'll notice in a couple of weeks that it's feeling really good. or that at 4 minutes you're like, oh, I don't want to stop. I'm going to go for 6 or 10. And if you just keep giving yourself this space every day, it gets better and better. And you want to go longer because it gets even more powerful. And people feel like they're going deeper into it, or the sensations become more amazing. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for asking. And
and kind of a follow-up. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I'll come to you in a second, Awesome Name. What's your follow-up question?
When you start the meditations, do you just go straight into it, or is there like a quick group chat / rundown before we start the meditation?
So we inherited this temple from a group, and they start by ringing the bell outside, and everyone walks in one at a time. And then they were setting the intention. They would read some Buddhist scripture, or they would read something that sounded Buddhist, about enlightenment spreading through the universe. And we do something similar, like setting the intention that we're going to make a really special time together and cultivate stuff that helps us, and hopefully that spreads to everyone around us. And then sometimes we'll have a bit of a discussion and then a meditation. Today we basically just jump straight into a meditation. So yeah, that's how we normally do it. And as for the very beginning of the meditation, there's so many different schools that do different approaches, and I like to just do different things so people can see what works and what doesn't. Often we will start with a body scan, because many people find that by letting the body feel very still and present, they've already calmed their mind. And so then whatever we do next, they're kind of already in meditation. Sometimes we will start with positive suggestions, like describing what it is, and we'll go straight into focusing on our breath. I've meditated with a lot of different people, and I've found when there's some kind of body scan or intro to get you into the meditation, that it's much more powerful. And there's many different kinds of inductions or intros. But I've also been in a lot of groups where they didn't have any kind of intro. You just sit there and you're like trying to get yourself into it. There's pros and cons to every approach. Now, Awesome Name asked, what is my favorite thing about meditation? So it's an interesting question, because I wish that I could just say, the times where you just have this vision hit you. You see a curtain drop and you drop into stillness, or I feel like I'm this giant statue of enlightenment 100 stories tall, or there are these profound experiences we have. And one part of me wishes I could say, oh yeah, that's my favorite part. But actually, if I hear someone who says their mind's always racing, and then a few weeks later, they're being able to become this void of stillness. And I know that will help them just feel more at peace and calm and able to handle anything in their life. Like, to me, that's more amazing than any vision or spiritual experience. But then if I look at kindness meditation and how it can help someone be patient or calm or confident, or how it inspired me to want to feel the world where everybody cares about everybody and everything. That's more beautiful than I could ever put into words. I could sing and say poetry for hours about the beauty of compassion, and it wouldn't even begin to share how amazing I think it is. It transformed me from an angry, hate-filled person to someone who feels love and care for everybody, and for butterflies and sheep and cows and the environment, filling ourselves up with love for everything. That's just, I know I can't put it into words how amazing it is. So saying my favorite part, I can't pick a favorite, but I hope you get a feeling that you can see there's parts of it that I think are amazing. I was saying, hey, notice that you can notice your attention. So many people go through life and they're just kind of, their attention is doing stuff. But to actually just reflect and see I'm moving my attention, or then to become really the master of that and like guide your attention, not just in meditation, but in how you respond to anything in your life. Like that's like a whole nother level of consciousness. That excites me. That blows me away. If I imagine everyone in the world getting really good at that, how much our culture would change, how many issues and problems we all struggle with today that we would all just drop because we wouldn't bother struggling with that stuff anymore. We'd focus on other things. Like that, I don't know. I can't pick a favorite. There's so much amazing stuff about meditation and self-awareness. I hope you still liked my answer, even though I didn't answer. Thanks for asking the question. For those of you who just came in, if you want to come in and grab a seat, or the rest of you maybe jump forward a few seats, so make some space at the back, that'd be great. All right, someone on the live stream. Setu's just said, you're sharing some great insights. Very cool VR experience. Wonderful. Well, I hope you can get a VR headset and join us here in the temple sometime. Great to have you here on the live stream. Big hugs. And Jimmy, Jimmy, such a pleasure to have you with us. Says, thank you. Please continue the path of enlightenment and Buddhahood. Well, that's a very sweet thing of you to say. Yeah, as I was saying, I really want everyone to be imagining what the world would be like if we were all choosing our focus and choosing the feelings we wanted to have. Like, if everybody set their intention to envisage the best possible world and then tried to live as that best possible person and like meditated on that, spent some time in that each day so that it really rubbed off on you. That's what inspires me and enlightened me and enlightened you and enlightened all of us. Yeah. So, Jimmy, great to be walking the path with you. Yeah, it's great to have all of you here with us. So those of you out on the live stream, love to keep having you part of it. Throw in your comments, your questions. Cherish having you here. Anyone else here in the temple would like to share something from today's meditation, or something you've appreciated from your meditation practice, or maybe you have a question. And, I really like to keep these sessions real. If you're brand new and you're like, oh, what's he talking about? Love for all people, or blissful experiences, sounds like rubbish. Come on, challenge me. Ask some questions. Like, let's make it real. I want everything I say to sound like something you can actually do, something that's actually achievable. And I want to help all of us to be empowered with how we move our attention and what we do with our minds, what we do with ourselves, how we program ourselves, how we engineer our way of being, how we decorate our inner temple. Whatever metaphor works for you, I want to make you an amazing life artist, mind magician. So yeah, bring it on, everybody. Oh, so Chimmy, you've become one of the Buddhist teachers. Bravo. Well, thank you. Chimmy's from a country where Buddhism is infused through everything. So it's an honor for you to say that to me. Thank you. But yeah, I actually hope for a world where everybody wants to be encouraging and sharing wisdom all the time. I don't necessarily identify as a Buddhist. I just want whatever's great to be shared. And there's a lot of cool stuff in Buddhism. One of those things is trying to bring an approach to what you do to try and make it as good as possible. right speech or right action or right concentration or right intention. So, Chimmy, as I imagine right speech, I imagine a world where people are trying to make what they talk about be helpful, trying to share the best ideas they have. And that doesn't have to be Buddhist or meditative. It could be philosophy. It could be skepticism. It could be happiness. It could be nice approaches to poetry or math. Like whatever we're doing, I hope we talk about it in a way that empowers the people around us. It helps bring the best ideas, the best suggestions you have everywhere. And yes, I do feel that being self-aware, creating states of peace, bringing kindness into what we do, I think that could infuse into basically everything and make the world better. So yeah, as we try to practice right speech, try to practice what you talk about, being as good as you can, I do want a world where everybody is a Buddhist teacher, where everybody is trying to encourage the people around them to infuse a little more patience or a lot more awareness, or where we're guiding little meditative moments for each other, or where we're guiding profoundly deep, awesome meditative moments for each other. So yeah, welcome to those of you who just arrived in the temple. We had a little meditation and we've been sharing some of our experiences and also opened up to any questions about mind training or about meditation, or now about like different attitudes that can make the world a better place. So yeah, welcome everybody. And would anyone else like to share or ask a question?
I have a poem, but I'll save it till you think it's ready.
It's poem time. Let's hear it. So Ed, I
right.
encourage you to read it a little slower than normal, just so that we
Sure.
can kind of meditate on each line.
Sounds great. I settled at Cold Mountain long ago. Already it seems like years and years. Freely drifting, I prowl the woods and streams and linger watching things themselves. People do not go this far into the mountain. White clouds gather and billow. The grass does not for mattress. the grass does its for a mattress. The blue sky makes a good quilt. Happy with a stone under head. Let heaven and earth go about their changes.
So some people who've spent time in poetry might notice that when things are written poetically, kind of just invites us to meditate on it more, to feel it or contemplate it differently. That's one of the reasons I love meditation. It's a way that helps us feel things more powerfully. But I'm grateful that you shared that, Ed, and I hope we all find different ways of sharing and creating moments for others that make life richer. One of the things I took away from this poem, you were talking about the sky as a blanket, and something about the stones was comforting and the grass was a mattress. Many people find that when they've been meditating, especially the kinds of meditation that is like stillness and peace, or the kinds of meditation that are about gratitude, that they just naturally see things and it looks more beautiful. Some people find after meditation, colors look brighter, or everyone looks like they're just a much sweeter, more wonderful person, or a nice thing happens and people are like, oh, that's just so amazing. So yeah, but a lot of people find that life just becomes more wonderful when you settle the mind. And obviously that also happens if you're doing meditations around like seeing the beauty in things. But I think it's amazing that even meditation just on stillness, just calming the mind, makes the space that so many people find that when you make space, your inner self just sees beauty and wonder in the world. So I think it's a pretty deep thing to contemplate. All right, and Jimmy shared, "Hey Fraser, I wanted to share an incredible travel suggestion with you. Consider visiting Bhutan, a beautiful country where you can experience authentic Buddhist practices, especially in the Vajrayana cities. The serene environment and mindful atmosphere there will truly enrich your journey. Happy travels." So I met Jimmy at university, and he was a special guest from Bhutan to our university. And Bhutan is a richly Buddhist country, and if you look at photos of it, there's profound temples lodged on the edge of mountains, looking across wild valleys, and everyone I've met from Bhutan is just wonderfully bubbling with caring and kindness. So thank you for the suggestion, everybody, to check out Bhutan. Again, Jimmy, it's an honor to have you here with us. Would anyone else like to share or ask about something? So, interesting insight I had recently. Many of you might have noticed that artificial intelligence is becoming a big thing. And many of these models that you can talk to, you go in and you say, "Tell me a poem," and it writes a poem. And then you say, "Oh, actually make it funnier," and it rewrites it to be funnier. And then you can say, "Well, write it in Spanish," or translate it to you in Spanish, or "Tell it to me like a pirate from the 12th century would say it." And it translates it to 12th century pirate. And then you could say, "Add some themes of inspiration and enlightenment," and it will put them in there. That's pretty amazing that whatever questions you throw at these AI minds, it responds with something. And I want to get you to think of your subconscious as like this amazing super AI. I don't know if any of these stats are at all right, but I always heard stuff that we only use 4% of our brain. Our subconscious mind is trillions of cells that we could use 90% more of them. But I've found it's really amazing if you prompt different questions to yourself. If you ask yourself, what would I be like if I was more at peace? Or what would I be like if I was more confident? Or, okay, I'm going to go and do some art. I'll do some art. But then if you prompt to yourself, hey, I want to do some more beautiful art, you just kind of sit with that idea for a little bit, your brain figures out some more beautiful art. Or if you ask yourself, I want to make it more inspiring, you'll come up with some ideas to put in that is inspiring. If you're doing a role-playing game and before you play, you say, I want to go in and be a guru that inspires my team. They play better and they walk away feeling better. You hold that idea, you'll have at least one or two funny things that people find enlightening while you're playing. And if you keep holding that idea, your character will become wild. And the same's true of wherever you go in your life. Everything you do, you're giving yourself a prompt. And often the prompt is just the kind of habits you're used to. But if you try prompting yourself differently, you will find creativity, positive feelings and amazing things come out of this brilliant artificial intelligence. But it's not artificial, like super untapped intelligence within yourself. And I want to get you all excited about that. I'm planting that prompt. Come up with stuff that makes you more awesome. And if you're putting your attention onto that prompt, your creativity, your subconscious is starting to come up with ways that you would be happier, more awesome, kinder, more confident. And the ways that are great for you. And so with that prompt then giving you these ideas, when you have an idea of like, oh yeah, next time I'm studying, I'm going to prompt myself, what would it like to be focused or confident? Or what would it be like to think about this if I thought I had an awesome memory? And next time you're going to go meet some people, you could prompt yourself, what would I be like if I was the funniest version of me, the happiest version of me, the most inspiring version of me? Whatever it is that you're being prompted with when I say be awesome, when you get these inklings, these little seeds of what you'd be like, meditate on it, give it some time, prompt it to your amazing mind, and you will find when you feed different ideas to yourself, you'll get them. Just like Amaza said, she arrived at the meditation and I said, imagine you're diving straight into the meditation, and she experienced it. I challenge you, prompt yourself, give yourself awesome suggestions, and sometimes, boom, amazing stuff will come out, and sometimes you'll just see, there's some little things that lined up with that suggestion, and the more you give yourself awesome suggestions, the more awesome stuff will come out of you. All right, Chimi's just asked, for the benefits of the other people here, what are the key principles and techniques of Buddhist meditation? And how do they contribute to the development of mindfulness and inner peace? Wonderful question. Chimi, I wanted to just clarify. I know this is in a Buddhist temple, and some of the teachers that use this space identify as a Buddhist. I don't. And I don't have these as particularly Buddhist sessions. So I'll answer this question. But if someone came and asked about another religion, I could also answer that. I spent a few decades practicing all of them. But I also try to avoid religions mostly. I want these sessions to be secular. You know, the skill of watching your attention, everyone in the world should have that, regardless of what ism they choose to subscribe to. The idea of each day being born again, starting from scratch, what would I be like to make heaven on earth? Everyone could have some time in that question, regardless of what ism they're into. So yeah, I'm going to answer the question, but with that preface, I want these sessions to mostly be secular and mostly be stuff that's useful for everyone. I'm not sure if Gautama is leaving because I got too religious or not religious enough. But yeah, this is why I try to avoid religions, because I just want it to be awesome for everybody. But yeah. And I guess another reason that I avoid religions is because I could tell you what I have seen as the key principles and techniques, but that would be mostly telling you stuff that I've learned from Theravadan schools, because that's where I've found the most benefit. And then if I was to mix in things from other places, people would be like, oh, which tradition is he talking about? So yeah, I try to avoid any isms, and I just like wisdom for their own sake and not coming as a package. Each bit of wisdom, wherever it comes from, is awesome. But yeah, the key principles and techniques I've found from Buddhism techniques is the idea of just watching your breath and letting your whole mind be still. I've mostly experienced that from Buddhist schools. And as we learn to just really watch our attention, we become better and better at then directing our attention or noticing stuff we're doing or thinking or feeling that doesn't help us and just letting that go. And as you purify your consciousness, as you let go of thoughts or feelings that aren't helpful, it makes space for you to do more awesome stuff, to think more awesome things. So yeah, one of those main techniques that I've learned from Buddhism is forms of breathing meditation, whether it's single-pointed attention or whether it's calming body scans. That's been wonderful. Another technique that I mentioned earlier, I learned compassion meditation from a Buddhist context, but there are compassion meditations from many different schools. And some of the key principles, like I said, there's so many different isms, but the Buddhism that's been best for me is just two pillars. One is that there's a promise that we can end all suffering. In life, stuff always happens. People are going to be sick, stuff's going to change, people will die, and there's always a reason that people get upset or hurt by that. And if you can notice the reason and then shift your consciousness, you can actually free yourself from all suffering. That's called the Four Noble Truths. Stuff happens, there's a reason why it hurts, you can end the reason. And the fourth truth, so those first three I would say are absolute truths. Yes, stuff happens and the things don't hurt us, it's our reaction to them that hurts us, and you can change your reaction. I would say that's a universal truth. The fourth one is something that Gautama Buddha said. I don't actually say this is a universal truth. It's just kind of cool way of him describing it. And so his fourth truth is the way to do that is the Eightfold Path. Now there's lots of ways people could describe doing it, but these eightfolds, I mentioned them before, it's kind of nice. Trying to do things in a way that's right. Right attention and right intention. Trying to make all of your words right speech. Trying to make all of your actions right action. Trying to make your work right livelihood. Doing something with your work that you think is good for the world. Right samadhi. Ed and Ameza mentioned touching the void or dropping into stillness. Spending time in that stillness does amazing things to us. So, yeah, the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths. For me, that is the main thing I'll take from Buddhism. So, thanks for the question, Jimmy. And then you mentioned mindfulness and inner peace. So I'm going to answer this part in the general sense, because this is not necessarily related to Buddhism. It's something that everyone should have, regardless of whatever isms or no isms they ascribe to. So mindfulness is a term that's getting more popular these days. People use it for slightly different things. So I'm going to describe a few of the ways I think about this term. So I mentioned before noticing where your attention goes. That is one way that people use the word mindfulness, to be aware of your own mind. And this can be such an amazing superpower. So whatever situation you're in, you're always reacting to things and having thoughts. And most of the time, your reactions, they're just on autopilot. You're not thinking, what would be the most profound feeling in response to what that was happened there. Or you stub your toe and you're just angry straight away. Or someone says something and you just have a reaction. So mindfulness is learning to notice all the things that are happening in your mind, but also being able to choose where you direct your attention, so you can let go of those other reactions and choose. I like prompts like, hey, what would be the most amazing way of reacting now? Or what would be the most beautiful feeling? Some people step into, which thing have I read that would be helpful here? Or I'm going to step into peace and see what arises. But yeah, when you step out of your reaction, you can then choose what you're going to step into instead. So yeah, being aware of your attention and being able to then choose where to direct it. Mindfulness is just such an amazing superpower. And in meditation, it's like a little scientific laboratory where we get to practice and see it. So you're breathing, you're focusing on your breath, and nothing else exists for like half a breath. And then you're thinking about something else, what you had for lunch. And then you're thinking about something else. Oh, and then you notice your mind's done something. And I'm going to come back to my breathing. Okay, so I was unmindful for a couple of thoughts then. And then I noticed again, and then I came back. And so as we practice more, we catch our mind faster, and we're also able to come back into the stillness more deeply, more profoundly. Now, why do I say that's like a scientific lab for out there when we live in our life? Is because stuff happens and you react, and your reaction happens, your feeling comes up and the thoughts come with it. And then some of us, after we've already reacted, maybe a little while later, we're like, oh, I'm not really proud of how I reacted just then. So your mindfulness kicked in maybe, I don't know, a few minutes later or a day later. But as we practice more, we hope that the mindfulness kicks in even faster. As soon as you start to talk, or maybe a sentence or two later, or as you practice even more, the mindfulness kicks in before the feeling even wells up, or before you've even said anything. So we train ourselves that we become mindful and aware faster and faster. And you can get to the point where you've actually trained yourself that those untrained reactions don't even happen. You just are this spaciousness. Okay, what am I going to do now? What would I choose now? So, if you were sitting there just breathing and you're like, what's the point of just this sitting here breathing meditation? I hope that I just showed you one way of understanding why training your attention and watching can be wildly helpful for life. Jimmy also asked about inner peace. When we're in meditation and we get into that stillness, most people find that it just feels really good, really peaceful. And the more time you spend in meditation, the more you feel that peace, the more it just is part of your emotional repertoire. It's part of your automatic way of being, is having peace. Or you notice you're struggling with some idea that's disturbing your peace. I'm going to let that go. Hey, now I'm more peaceful. So as we watch our awareness and we just are good at just letting go of stuff, the more we let our mind be still, we let ourselves be peaceful. Obviously, Jimmy, I could keep talking for days of all the little subtleties and applications. But yeah, I think that's a nice overview. I hope, I know you are well versed, but I hope some of the ways I described it will be maybe a shortcut, or a speed up, or a boost, or maybe something to contemplate that will enrich your existing practice. And to those of you who are new, there's one random guy's summary of Buddhism for you. Thanks for the question, Jimmy. Would anyone else like to ask about anything I just said, or anything else at all? Or maybe you don't want to ask. Maybe you want to respond, share your thoughts or comments about it. Actually, I want to say, I said I don't want to be about this ism or that ism, because I value us trying to learn wisdom from wherever we can. But it's actually bigger than that for me. I want a world where every person is trying to just learn the best ways of being. Wherever people are like, hey, we're like this, and that thing is what other people do, I want to pop those bubbles. I want the whole world to be working together. Yes, there'll be different cultures and different groups. Just naturally, that will still exist. But if we're all sharing the best of what we have, all the groups will be evolving and improving and being more creative and exploring. And so humanity will just get better and better. So my stance on trying to avoid isms isn't just for me. I think it's a vision that could be good for everybody. Pop those bubbles. If someone's putting a set of beliefs into a box, that box is also just a belief. In some ways, boxes help, but I think spending time without the boxes is something we should all do as well. And very often, these boxes can actually seriously harm us. There are people who could definitely benefit from learning a relaxation exercise, but their ism says, "Oh, that's from the bad group," or maybe you like a certain style of music, and someone invites you to a concert, and you're like, "Oh, that's not my style." Open your mind. Try some other kind of music. Or try some different kinds of food from countries that you would never open to before. Or, wherever you notice yourself in a box, maybe just be open to learning from other places. Yes, Ed? I think you've muted yourself. It's the A button to unmute. Left hand A button. Still muted. In your bottom left of your eyes, there's a little microphone. Once that turns white, we'll be able to hear you. Left hand, big button. We'll come back to you as soon as you're ready, Ed. Hey, those of you who are at the door,
I'm so
you're welcome
sorry.
to come in.
I
Hey,
wasn't.
Ed.
I wasn't waving. Somebody walked in, and I was waving at them. I
So
apologize.
those of you who are out on the live stream, just one thing that I find so amazing, like what Ed was just sharing is just an example of it. The interaction between virtual reality and reality. Like Ed was waving to someone out there, but to me here, it looked like he was waving to me. And there's definitely been times where I've played a game and I'm doing something and then I'm a bit tired from playing and I'm like, oh, I'm going to lean on this. What? And I've just fallen through. And it amazes me the funny things that happen at the intersection between virtual reality and reality. And I love to think about that metaphor and relate it to the virtual reality in our own mind versus the reality that we all share. You know, you might be talking to someone and they might seem grumpy to you and you think that you've upset them, but maybe they're just wrestling with something in their head, or maybe they're thinking about something that happened to them just before they saw you. Or maybe they weren't even being grumpy. Maybe they were just being friendly and you're wrestling with something in your virtual reality. So I really love contemplating how there's this crossover between VR and the world around us. And also contemplating how my inner world, like everything that happens is in my inner world. Everything that happens to you, it's in your inner world. The ways you react, the ways you feel about things, the way you think about things, it's all in your head. So being able to really get careful observing what's the actual reality, what am I actually seeing, versus what are all the other stories that I've put on top of that. All that other stuff is just my virtual reality. And the more I can actually just make my mind engage with actual reality instead of my virtual reality, the better you can thrive at life. And I think if I give us all a minute to think about it, you could probably think of a lot of different attitudes you have about people, different feelings you have about stuff that's going on. And if you were just to drop all those attitudes, drop all those feelings, life would be a lot easier. Sorry, someone was just sending some pizza around the temple. Hey, to those on the live stream who are new to VR, let's give them an emoji storm. Everyone want to send some like love hearts and pizzas and stuff. And if you're new to VR and you're just suddenly swimming in emojis, welcome. And this is also a kind of interesting metaphor for what you can do when you start to meditate more, is you can just give yourself a moment. Like, hey, what if right now I was to imagine just a big smiling cool face. Hey, look, I just shifted how I'm feeling. And if that sounds a bit weird, Ed's just given us a present. I want you to try it. Next time you just think of it, just be like, oh, what would happen if right now I thought of somebody laughing? Well, right now I imagine a field of people meditating and being peaceful. Like, you can just like throw nice ideas and thoughts into your consciousness. And I mentioned before being a mind artist. Something you might want to try. Just randomly giving yourself presents. Or Ed, just out of nowhere, threw a poem into our discussion. What if you just randomly gave your friends presents? Give them a nice little image to make them smile. Or tell them a little story about the VR temple we went to where people were talking about infinite peace and you could feel the peace just a little bit, but you got a glimpse of what infinite peace would be like. And then you thought about it some more and you could kind of feel infinite peace. Like just telling that story to people, you've just sowed a little seed of infinite peace into their life. I think that's amazing that we can do that. Joey on the live stream chat, he sent you all pizza slices. Thanks, Joey. And I also find it really interesting. Somebody threw a pizza to somebody who arrived, and then that just turned into this whole discussion of presence and laughter, and Joey's laughing now. I was mentioning before right speech. If you're feeling philosophical and you want to think about it, you can really see that words that you say and actions that you do can actually ripple on and affect the next bit of the conversation, or what you'll think about next, or what other people think about. So if you really want to contemplate it, like, you could see that your speech can be really powerful. Every time you change the direction of things, just a little bit or a lot, that can change the universe. So yeah, something for you to think about forever. All right, let me check the time. It's almost time for our closing meditation. Any burning questions or comments or requests for the meditation before we begin? Chimi says, thanks for sharing the wisdom. Such a pleasure to have you here with us. I hope you will keep joining us. All right, I want to just see from a show of hands which meditation sounds interesting for us now. So I'm going to just say a bunch of things. If it sounds good, go like this. If it sounds great, go like this. If it sounds wild, wave your hands in the air. So we could do a body scan to see what it's like to really relax our body and mind. We could do some breathing meditation to watch our mind moment to moment. You're allowed to vote for many things. Don't just wait for the best one. Anything that sounds good. If you're on PC, you can just wiggle your head. The more you wiggle, the more I'll think you're into it. If you want to do a kindness and caring meditation, we could do guided imagery meditation. We could go and visit a lake of infinite peace. Or we could climb a mountain of unshakable confidence. We could do a meditation where we contemplate the ideas from today, self-awareness, stepping into your best self, and I just invite you to meditate on your best self. All right, it looks like the Lake of Peace was our winner. All right, so this is a guided imagery meditation. The imagery can be nice, that it's just a way to engage your mind, especially if you're newer to meditation. Just going on a nice daydream is a good way to keep yourself just flowing with the meditation, going deeper. And we're going to go and practice inner peace. So I'm going to be using visual imagery, and some of you have really vivid minds. I'm going to prime you a little bit here. You might be just seeing it really clearly. The colors might be really vivid. You'll be fully there and immersed. Excellent. Some of you, your visual minds, you haven't practiced as much, and you'll just be kind of seeing a bit of this thing and a bit of that thing. That's great. Enjoy it. If you can, try to imagine it being more vivid, even better. If your visual mind is just like, if I mention an elephant and you kind of just have the idea of an elephant more than seeing an elephant, that's all right too. We're just going on a journey in your subconscious. And each idea that just pops into your mind, just follow the journey. I'll be encouraging us to see it vividly. You just see it as vividly as you can. I'll also be encouraging us to feel it vividly. You just feel it as vividly as you can. I'll be trying to guide us in a way that will make all of the senses richer and more powerful, because your consciousness is amazing, and whatever you practice, you'll get more of. You may be just starting on some of the senses or some of the experiences. That's okay. Just roll with it. Be open that it'll just keep getting more awesome. So I see Pop stretching. So how about we do that? Let's all just have a stretch. If you want to stand up and jiggle, wiggle your fingers and toes, pump your arms and shoulders back and forward, move your spine around, wiggle your knees. We're going to have, another 10 minutes of stillness. So pump your body up, get everything out, get ready for stillness. The arms on my chair, I'm going to fold them back so I've got more space. Get yourself comfortable, get the space around you comfortably. I'm moving forward on my seat, so it's more like I'm sitting on a meditation cushion with my knees over the edge. But you do whatever you got to do just to get comfortable. All right, and now as everybody's getting comfortable and starting to settle in, I'm just going to send some friend requests because I feel really nice that we've shared these moments together. And even if you were quiet, I want you to know I appreciate you being here and just trying to imagine what you were feeling and thinking, and want you to feel cared for and valued. So as everybody is just getting comfortable in the seat, as soon as you're ready, I just invite you to close your eyes And take a deep, relaxing breath. Imagine if you were just diving straight into a meditation. I say take a deep breath, so you take a deep breath and you feel it. And I say take a breath where you feel your lungs expand and your whole body then relaxes as you breathe out. You just dive into that idea. Deep breath, whole body relaxing. And now we're going to begin our guided imagery meditation. So I just want you to imagine that you're standing in a forest. You look around and you can see trees. Actually, there's one really interesting tree right near you, and so you decide to really pay attention to it. You walk up and you just feel like putting your hand on the bark and feeling the bark. It feels nice. Maybe the idea of being a tree-hugging hippie comes to your mind and makes you giggle a little bit. Maybe you want to give the tree a hug. Feel it with your hands and your arms and feel the size of the trunk. Maybe you don't want to give it a hug, but you could just imagine what it feels like. And just feeling the size of the trunk. Just putting your attention in to this trunk. You're like, well, yeah, here's this tree. You look up the tree and you can see the bark going up the trunk. And then you can see the branches. And as you look at the branches, we're just going to engage our visual mind a little more. Imagine if you were drawing these branches. Just let your brain follow the outlines of the branches. Just more vividly seeing those branches there. Oh, and it's not a two-dimensional tree, it's a 3D tree. So you just feel the branches and the outlines and the textures of those branches. And then you can see the leaves. See the colors of the leaves. Maybe your forest has a gentle breeze and you can see the leaves just moving in the breeze. And then as you look around and see the other trees, maybe you'll notice the texture of the bark stands out a little more, or the leaves are a little greener, or the shapes of the branches is more vivid. Your brain is such an amazing machine. Oh, and you notice that you're standing on a path. So you decide to walk the path. Very intentionally. Step by step. The tree that you had that moment with, it's moving away behind you. You see the tree going. You probably even feel the tree moving away from you. You're just feeling each step as you walk the path. You see these other trees going past you. Well, you're going past them. Just this moment of relativity. You see the trees that are further away, moving slower than the trees that are closer. This parallax effect in your own inner virtual reality. Maybe your forest has a soft mist, or maybe a cool breeze. Maybe there's butterflies and flowers and birds. Maybe there's some sunbeams dappering their way through the gaps in the trees. You could let yourself feel what it's like to be in your forest. As you keep intentionally walking the path, feeling each footstep. As you keep walking, appreciating this inner world. You could go anywhere. You could see, or you could do, or you could feel anything. And up ahead there's a bend in the path. And as you approach it, you start to see that the trees seem a little clearer behind the next lot of trees. And then you turn the corner and you realize you've come to an enormous lake. Wow, it's a beautiful lake. You look all the way around and you can see the trees all the way around, just hugging the shore of the lake. You can almost feel the trees drinking in the lake. You can see the reflection of the trees all the way around. It's so beautiful. And then you notice this must be some wild meditation lake, because as you look in, you can see deep down into the depths of the water. This is the most crystal clear, beautiful lake you've ever seen. And you decide to walk over up to the edge of the lake and look down, and you can see your reflection peacefully smiling back at you. And you've come here for inner peace. And you notice nearby is a little boat. And it looks like this boat was made just for you. So you hop into the boat, and with a little push, the boat floats out into the lake. And your breathing shifts gears. Every part of you has just decided right now it's all about inner peace. Just going to float on this tranquil lake of peace. And the boat floats out into the middle of the lake. And you become peace. You feel the stillness of the peace. It's such a beautiful, perfect day. The sky, it's a perfect temperature, perfect blue. And you can feel the boat floating on the water. Just the subtlest of movements. And you imagine the stillness in the water beneath you. You imagine in the stillness in the water around the boat.
Amen. I'll go about. I like that.
And then you notice that the wind is starting to pick up. There's a little bit of a storm coming. What? I came here to practice inner peace. But you choose to just keep feeling the stillness of the lake beneath you.
No, not really. I was watching an Oppenheimer movie while meditating, basically.
If you remember, we were feeling the water beneath us and around us. And you imagine just feeling even deeper into the lake.
Yeah, pretty cool Chobits avatar. Don't mind if I clone it.
You like engineering, man? You,
Hey guys, can you... We're doing a meditation. Can you guys go
You,
over there, please?
crash the
Oh, I
stock
got a new
market.
programming
You,
job.
Oh, you got
Oh, I
a new
start training
programming job?
soon. Cool.
And it makes you smile that the inner peace of the lake, the stillness inside the water, Even if a storm came, this lake would still be still. You imagine if you were the lake, how big and still and peaceful it would feel to be this lake. Yeah, you could even feel your human body just transforming into a lake, expanding to be the size of a lake. What would it feel like to be enormous stillness? And I invite you to take some deeper breaths and feel your consciousness expanding, becoming an even deeper, more massive sense of peace. You're guiding your own meditation. So guide yourself into the most beautiful peace that you could imagine. Imagine a peace that is unshakable. Perfect peace. Imagine if you spent a lot of time in this perfect peace, and that you became this perfect peace in your body, in your mind. You learned this massive, unshakable stillness. Imagine how good that would feel. If you notice other feelings in your body or mind now, just let them pass. Hold your attention. How good it would feel if your whole body became perfect calm, if all your feelings became perfect stillness. Bring yourself, your awareness, back into the boat. It's just you, floating on this lake of stillness, enjoying this peaceful moment. And I want you to look over the edge of the boat and look at the surface of the lake. And look around in every direction. You can just see how big the lake is. And then I want you to feel under the surface and feel the depth of the lake. And while the surface might be one atom layer thick or just a little thicker if there's some ripples, the lake is quadrillions times deeper. The size of that stillness It's just so much more massive than the surface. And just feel into that depth of the stillness. And I want you to imagine that no matter what storm comes, no matter what interruptions, what waves are on the surface, you're cultivating that your inside is this ocean of peace. And you start to notice those guys talking, and you start to notice the wind picking up and the waves on the surface getting bigger. Some storm clouds roll in, and the boat starts to rock a little bit. And then the boat's rocking more and the wind's blowing more. You came here for inner peace. What's with this? And the storm picks up. And then you decide, hey, I want to be back into this peace. So you jump out of the boat and down into the water. And it's a meditation lake. So you're just reconnecting with that ocean of peace. You can look up. You can see the waves. You can see the storm clouds. But you are stillness and peace. You can hear those guys talking, but you just go deeper into your inner peace meditation. The idea that you always have peace, that you can just jump into it anytime, that your inner self is this ocean of peace. Let's just spend some time feeling that, being that. Maybe you could imagine moving through your life, different things that could happen, and just inside your body you could feel this ocean of peace. Maybe you could remember something that happened recently where you reacted less peacefully. And you could feel into what would it be like to have reacted to that if you just stepped into this ocean of peace inside you. Maybe you can feel that you need to spend more time meditating on this ocean of peace. But it's such a beautiful knowing that this deep stillness and peace is there inside you. And as you go deeper into the meditation, no matter what the storm is doing, you just feel that peace being more powerful, more completely part of you. And I invite you to imagine this in a memorable way, something that would inspire you to visit this lake tomorrow. Anytime there's a storm, whether it's a real storm or a metaphorical storm, some argument or something stressful, just reminds you to jump out of the storm and be in your peace. It's such a gift that any moment can be something that brings you more powerfully into your peace. Imagine if you move through life, you treated every moment as a present. Every present moment. It's just a gift to step into your peace, to step into your power.
Nossa, acho que isso é tipo uma sessão de meditação. Olha um tempo. Ah, faz sentido isso aí que é tipo um tempo sagrado, caramba.
And so it's time to swim back out of the water. You climb up into the boat. And even though the boat is still splashing, the waves are still there, the storm's still there, you feel still, powerful, confident, inner peace. But you notice as you think about peace, you think of the surface of the lake becoming still. It's your mind, so it becomes still. And then as you look at the storm from a point of stillness, it all just seems so much easier. And then the storm subsides. The storm clouds roll away, a beam of sunlight lands on you and warms you up, and it's beautiful. And the boat slowly drifts back to the side of the lake. And if you want to spend more time in the lake, that's beautiful. Dedicate that you'll come back to this lake and you'll meditate here again. And as you step out of the boat and look back across the lake, you feel this ocean of peace that is part of you now. Each time you visit it, it will be more vivid. You'll feel it more powerfully. You'll experience it more completely. You'll conceptualize it more profoundly. You know you can come back through the forest, visit this lake and spend time there. But you can also imagine anytime you need, anytime a storm comes, you take a deep breath in. Go on, take a deep breath now. Fill up your lungs, hold it in. And then as you breathe out, you just let go and you remember that feeling of just splashing down into the water. The stillness is always there anytime you need a deep breath and just diving into stillness. So you can visit this lake in your meditations, and you can visit this lake in a breath anytime you need. So as you turn and you begin to walk the path, feeling each step, carrying it with this sense of inner peace. As you see the trees again, maybe they feel more beautiful. Maybe you have a deeper sense of appreciation, of awe. As you keep taking each footstep, maybe each step feels stronger, more confident. Maybe you feel tingles in your feet. Maybe you feel joy with each step. Walking the path, filled with inner peace. And as you walk back out of the forest, you notice up ahead there's a temple. And you walk into the temple, and you see people sitting. So you also sit. You feel your meditation posture. And you imagine that each time you meditate, this infinite inner peace will be with you. And as you're coming from the meditation back into the temple, you're aware of the people here who you've shared this nice time with. You're aware of your attention and how you feel and how you move your mind. And you imagine continuing to walk that path in each moment of your life. Right attention, right effort, putting your attention, putting your intention in each moment.
Mas ele tá aqui aonde? Não tá aqui, ele tá marcando aqui.
Choosing how to react, how to be, how to think in each moment. Walking the path with right speech. Choosing how to think to yourself, how to talk to yourself, how to talk to others in the most happy, caring, wise, wonderful way possible. And then as you look around the temple, right caring, just caring for everyone here. I encourage you to look around, see everybody. We had a moment of peace together. Just care about them. Feel the peace that we shared. I'm looking at you and I'm really happy, hoping you had something similar to what I just had. Maybe you had something much more profound. Maybe it was new to you and it affected you more than I've been affected for a long time. Or maybe you had some insight that was profound and it will shift how you see your mind and your consciousness. Just look around, and it's nice that we shared this time together, that we had these discussions together, that we shared together. For each person that shared, I'm so grateful that you shared your experience or that you asked a question. And if you were here quietly, I'm grateful that you gave me your attention. And I've tried so carefully to cultivate what I share in a way that's as helpful and as beautiful and has I hope zero hindrances, zero confusions. I try to make this as real and as practical and as awesome as possible. So thank you for spending time with me. I do this same time every week. I hope you'll keep coming and bring your friends. But if you remember in our intention setting, those of you who were at the start, I don't do these just for me or just for you. I hope that you have more happiness and peace to share with everyone around you. And I hope you have more smiles and more joy and more wisdom in all your conversations. And I hope that you make intentional awareness just part of all your interactions this week. And I really look forward to seeing you here again next week or soon. And I also hope you're inspired to give yourself 5 minutes of meditation tomorrow, whether that's being in the peace or just watching your attention through your body and your breath. And if you've been meditating more than that, I hope you're inspired to give yourself one of your really good meditations. So, thank you everyone for being here. If you're there on the live stream, I'm going to say goodbye now. If you enjoyed this session, please share it with others or rewatch it. Listen to the meditations again. Share it with someone who you know will be helpful. Subscribe to the channel. There's a button that says clips. If there were some parts you really loved, go make some clips and just find them in the video and share it with others. The more we fill the world with positive suggestions, the more our minds all become amazing. Let's all be fountains of peace, wisdom, and awareness. So thanks for being here.